Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and happy Sunday, October 30th of 2022. I have a really wonderful experience to share with you from something that I did this past week where I actually was invited to a wellness retreat by a friend of mine. It was a very small gathering. It was kind of a last minute thing that was put together, and I was able to go to Southern Utah and spend Monday through Friday with 11 other people, and we all shared our gifts as far as what we bring into wellness, into health, into a rise in consciousness, if you will. And it was just this beautiful week, Monday through Friday, of connection, new friendships, and a lot of growing and learning and opening our hearts and just connecting with people. So there's a friend of mine here in Salt Lake who was one of the ones who put this together with a couple other friends. And I was so grateful and so blessed to be one of the people that was invited to this. So what we did is we did a lot of things, like we did guided breath work. We did a yoga nidra, which I guess is something I've never heard of, but I got to experience that. There was a private chef that was hired for the week, so we got to eat this delicious, amazing food. There were hikes that people went on. I actually wasn't able to participate in the hikes this time, but that's okay. I had some beautiful times just out in Mother Nature. One was sitting at a trailhead where everyone else in the group went off for a hike, and I sat on a picnic bench, and I just communed with Mother Nature, which is actually one of my favorite things to do. But we went through a couple of different really cool exercises, and there was one that was done that I really kind of wanted to share with you because it was super powerful, and I think it's something that it's a reminder of the power and the beauty that we all have in the ability to take charge of our own lives, in particular three big areas, which are health, wealth, and relationships. And these are things that, I know I talk about a lot, and this is something that's very, very, very important to me. But there was this little session that we did. Actually, it was about a 4-hour session. We each were given a blank journal, and we went through this whole exercise. And one of the first things that we did is we wrote down the 5 things that we were grateful for. So you start off in this place of gratitude. And this is what I wrote down just to kind of give you an idea, because it can be a big thing, it can be small things, it can be whatever you're grateful for in the moment, because we all know that gratitude, it doesn't matter how big it is or how small it is. Even just having the attitude of being grateful can make a big difference. So I wrote these things down: being here now, new friends, being alive right now, a brand new knee, something I am definitely grateful for. And number 5 was my knowing. And I attribute this to, my parents, my upbringing, the things that I've studied, the fact that I'm in my 60s now. But there's an intuitive knowing that I have that I'm super, super, super grateful for. And then after you write 5 things that you're grateful for, and this was all at the beginning of the exercise, then you write down 5 things that you're so proud of. So I wrote down, and again, this is not something you think a long time about. You're not writing whole paragraphs about it. You're writing the first things that come into your mind, and it's a very short list. So I wrote awareness, my boys, my stubbornness, the life I built, and my ability to love and forgive. So these are things that I am so proud of. And this was like, just this first exercise that we did was a very, very empowering exercise, and it was a brilliant way to start off what we were going to be doing for the next 4 hours. So then what we did is we divided our little notebook, our new little journal, into 3 sections, one for health, one for wealth, and one for relationships. And then we had a few minutes where what we did is we wrote down 15 things that we wanted to reach right now in our health. And then we did the same thing with 15 things that we wanted to accomplish for our wealth. And this means different things to everyone. And it was really interesting as we went through all of these things afterward. And we had a bit of a debriefing pretty much after every session that we did all week. These there's no set rules to what you want out of health or what you want out of wealth, um, or what you want out of your relationships, because not only are we all different, but we all are in different places in our life with all of these things. And again, you only have a few minutes to write these down because it's something that you want off the top of your head. Then what you do is you go through an exercise where you write down, who must I become to achieve these things? So think about that. It's not necessarily about achieving these things. In fact, one of my favorite mentors over the years has been Jim Rohn, and he's been someone I've been studying probably for the last 20 years. Around age 40, I discovered him. I started reading all of his stuff, listening to all his audio tapes, and he was very pivotal for me. And one of the biggest things that he always said was, it's not about what you actually gain at the end, or actually what the goal is. You know, you want to earn $1 million, or you want to have a six pack, or whatever your goal is. It's what it takes for you to become to achieve that goal. So what you become along the journey is really where the goal is, right? So what I wrote down is who I must become to achieve these things that I wrote down on these 3 lists. I must become dedicated and consistent. I must go in 100%, not 99%, not 50%, but 100%. I must find joy in the journey. Because of the things that I wrote down in my health, as I work out, I must remember what I want. What do I want out of this workout? And then I wrote this: I must become a good sleeper, stay fully hydrated, and stop the processed food. Now, I know some of these things are not going to be necessarily 100%, but these were really interesting to write down in the moment during this exercise. I must become a person who sets a schedule. Discipline and hard work always pays off. This has honestly been one of those things that I have not been super good at. Now, do I get a lot of things done? Yes. I feel like I accomplish a lot in my life, but I am not very disciplined when it comes to schedule. And I know that I could heighten my service to others and what I put out to the world, and even the desires I have for my own health, my own wealth, my own relationships, if I were a little bit more disciplined and on a schedule. And this doesn't have to be something that you have any desire for on any level. This is all very individualized. I must become a person who is aware of everything I eat and drink. I must eat to live, not live to eat. Now, who's heard that before, right? Enjoy, but watch the overindulging. And I think, we're all a teeny bit guilty of that. And I think a little bit of overindulging every once in a while is okay. I'm really not trying to discount any of that for anyone, because, I do that as well. So another thing that I wrote down, and this was in a different part of the exercise, is also in the category of who must I become to achieve these goals. This one was in the relationship category. I must become loving, forgiving, non-judgmental, kinder, and a better listener. I think that we like to give ourselves credit for things that we're probably pretty good at, and we already feel like we have dialed into a certain point. But I think if we heighten these things, especially things like non-judgmental, especially important right now, forgiving, not just of others, but of ourselves, and looking back at things that happened in the past, things that we might be holding on to, things that we might be feeling we still have a little bit of victimhood about, and forgiving the situation, the person, ourselves, and maybe it might be forgiving ourselves for hanging on to those things for so long. And I think when we are able to fully forgive, then there comes that peace. Then it's time to forget about it. And I'm not saying put yourself back in a situation where maybe that same person or situation is going to do the same thing. It's not even about that. It's about, if you truly forgive, you're going to forget. And say it is a person who's in your life, someone who's in your family, a person who's close to you. Maybe they've even asked for forgiveness, but there's something that's a piece of you that's just not forgiving. seems to be such a beautiful theme because we are going through transformational, transitional times where we have to really peel back the layers of many things that are happening, and we have to use discernment, and we have to be able to fully forgive. And people are going through transitions themselves. So that to me is really, really, really beautiful. So kind of toward the end of this, we wrote down what our core values are that we are not willing to compromise. And again, this was written down uh, fairly quickly. This was 10 things that are your core values that have to do with all of the categories, the health, wealth, and relationships. And this would be a really fun exercise for anyone to do. Um, and I'll write down below this video a little bit of a guideline on how to do this, or maybe where to start. And you can kind of take it from there and do your own exercise with this. So here are the things that I wrote down that are my core values that actually help me and become my guiding star. Number one is everything must be love-based. Everything must be based on love. Number two is freedom-based of speech and bodily autonomy. This speaks for itself. Number three is trust in myself and others. Trust that the right things are going to happen. Trust, someone, maybe you lost your trust, they've been working to get it back. Use your best intuition and your judgment and learn to have trust. That one is so beautiful. Number four is to provide the best customer service that I can provide. That one is, we're all here to serve others. We're here such a short period of time. The time that we have is in the eternities, and what we in our souls know is after this, and the learning and the growing that we have. This is such a blip in time. And I believe that we are here to provide service, compassion, and love for others. And to me, that's extremely important. Number five, kind of a switch here, is daily workouts. This is a non-negotiable for me because it helps me live my other purposes. It makes me feel good in my body. When we have this vessel that is our temple, and we take care of it, it helps us get the health, the wealth, and the relationships that we desire. And that to me is a non-negotiable. Forgiveness, huge. That's number six, forgiveness. The quicker you can learn to forgive and put this into your repertoire of things that you're able to do easy, actually the easier it gets. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Number seven, sleep. Again, rejuvenation, regeneration helps all of these things click in. Meditation. I've been doing serious daily meditation now for over a year, and I've kind of dipped in and out of it over the years. But in 2020, middle of summer, self-preservation, all of the crazy energies and all of the division, all of the things that were happening in the world, I had to literally disconnect and get into this rhythm and routine for self-preservation of my mind so that I could focus and I could go about life without always being in angst or fear or whatever. And daily meditation will continue to be one of my core values. Number nine is connection with others. To me, this is why we're here. We're here to connect. We're here to love. We're here to really just be with other humans. We're not designed to be alone. And that is also how we grow and we thrive, is if we have a connection with other humans. And then number 10 for me went right back to number one, which number one was love-based. Number 10 was unconditional love. And that says it all, right? So to me, this was like a really kind of fun exercise. And like I said, it was actually a very, very long, thoughtful process. It didn't seem like it was 4 hours, but it was a beautiful exercise that we went through of just the one that we did during this whole week. And one of the most beautiful things is when we weren't in these different things that we were sharing with each other, like the breath work, and there were sound bowls, and like I said, yoga nidra. the amazing meals that were made by the chef. There were these conversations with new friends individually on the side, and it was, really, really an amazing, regenerative, just renewing week. And we all talked about gathering again next year. There were people from all over. It was like I said, a very small group. There were only 12 of us. Um, but I'm excited to reconnect with these people, not only during this year, but next year. Stay true to what all these things are that I've put down as goals for these categories. And then wherever we go, I'll be able to participate in the physical things because I'll be a whole year into something I've been talking about the last few weeks is my brand new knee. So I hope this provides a spark of inspiration and motivation for you as we continue to go through this incredible year of 2022. There's a lot of things that happened in 2020 that I thought would be done and kind of like over by the time 2020 wrapped up. And boy, was I wrong, because we've not only been through all of 2020, all of 2021, and now we're only 2 months away from having 2022 wrap up completely. So I think this gives us an opportunity to think about what is the joy, where is the joy? Why am I here? What do I want to take with me? Because I believe our souls collect deep wisdom. We burn off karma. We come in to evolve our souls. And whatever it is that you believe spiritually, I believe that we take that deep wisdom and we take that unconditional love that we gather and we take it with us. And to me, that is why I believe we're here. We're here because this is a school and we're here to learn. So, to me, it's a beautiful time to be alive. And I would not trade being here on this planet for anything in the world. I think we all chose this. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. I would love to hear what you think about this. Anything in this topic I talked about. And if you decide to go through this little exercise, maybe grab a friend, grab your husband, your wife, or your partner, grab your family, grab your kids. This is even a fun exercise you can do with your kids. In fact, if you think about it, where the very first exercise you do is you name 5 things you're grateful for right now. And then you name 5 things that you're so proud of. And there's no judgment on this. It can be anything. And it meets you where you are. It meets you where you are. So I hope you have a beautiful Sunday, the last Sunday in October. We're heading into a couple beautiful months. We've got the holidays coming up, and I hope that yours are filled with love and joy and no stress, just love. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. If you feel so inclined, share this with someone you think could maybe use a little lift. And I love you tons, and I wish you a beautiful day. And we'll see you next time.